guys, yesterday we have seen how to do the parameterized database. So parameterized report definitions, right? How to give a source as a report definition to a drop down, how to maintain that parameter concept, right? So parameter, what it is doing, it is capturing a value from the section level and it is taking from the section and passing it to report definition using as a filter condition and fetching the data, again resubmitting it to section level itself, right? So now we are going to discuss about the same thing by using data pages. So by using data pages also similar thing, as we discussed, what is the purpose of data page?
We use the data page for memory purpose, and it is a cache memory, and data is stored temporary in a clipboard level.
Oh, nice. So parameterized data page. So just one question, can I use data page to retrieve the data?
No, there we can use a source like a data page, data page, no, report definition, activity, data transform, lookup, connector, like that.
Very good. So these are the sources we can use and we can get the data from the table, right? So I want to use, so rather than using the report definition directly, why can't I use report definition? Why should I go with the data page when I want to retrieve some information? Anyway, report definition is going to be used, right? If you are doing directly by report definition, or if you are going to use with the data page indirectly also you are using report definition. What is the benefit of using data page rather than going with the report definition directly to fetch some information?
Like a report definition is interacting with the database. Mm, is it correct?
Yes, report definition is going to interact with the database continuously. Whenever you are trying to hit the data, right? So whenever you are trying to fetch the information, every time keep on interacting with the database. So when you are trying to load a huge data, like 1 lakh record, 5 lakhs record, so this kind of time, the processing time may take, right? So it will take, it will leads to some huge performance issues. So in that case, we can avoid those things by fetching only one time. Next time onwards, data page will take over. Data page will store the data temporarily in the clipboard. So in that case, we can avoid the unnecessary database hittings, right? So that is the main purpose. That's it about the data page. Okay. Now let's understand how we can make this parameterized data page. We can do multiple scenarios. Let's say yesterday I have shared one screenshot, right? There, based on the quarters, you are going to show your months for any kind of quarter payments will be there, right? So in your application, or you may have seen some other applications, based on your selection of quarter one you have to display January, February and March, and based on your quarter two you have to display some other one, quarter three some others, some other months, quarter four some other months. So one selection, one drop down is going to depend on other drop down values, right? So in those cases, we have tried one thing called country, states and cities. So here what we did, based on the selection of the country value, we are going to display the states. Whatever the country you are selecting, user has to select only those countries related states only. The user can able to see those related states only. Based on the selection of the states, user has to see only those states related cities only. If let's say user is changing the states, and automatically cities has to be updated. So once user is giving some city, something like India country, and he selected something like Hyderabad, so let's say Telangana, and after that he chose some city like Hyderabad, let's say. Now once user is changing, again coming back to the country and changing it to Australia, automatically whatever the previous selections was there, right? So these selection has to go with null option, means these selections has to go completely vanish. Okay, it should not maintain any kind of data once you change the country. Even once you change the state, right, automatically based on the selection, whatever the values are present, those values should be updated. So this is how we have already tried in report definition. Now let's try to create by using data pages. By doing data page, last time we did the parameterization in the report definition, right? So how to do the parameterized by using data page, and how we can make the connection between the report definition and data pages for this specifically for the parameters. Okay, let's see, and we'll try the same thing for country, state, city as well, and I will show three things today. So let me go back to a data type. I have three data types. I created separately for testing purpose only, but in real time we don't maintain these many data types. So individually for each of the things. So let me open country data type and states data type and cities. Let me show you. I have taken few examples in the country. Only three countries I have given in my dropdown. It may vary. If you have some other countries, you can capture to more display purpose. So just yeah, these are the countries I have: Australia, India, and United States. When it comes to states, I'm maintaining for each of the country, I'm maintaining states and state code and state name. And also when it comes to cities, each of the city I'm maintaining based on the country, because on selection of the state, let's say I have already mentioned here, right? Let's say if I change the country, automatically my city has to be updated. So means once you change the India to Australia, previously you have already mentioned Hyderabad, right? So it should be dependent. It should be depending not only on states, it should depend on the country as well. That is the reason I'm maintaining the country code, state code, city code, and city name. And you know, right, which property you have to keep it as a key, right? So whatever the key you are going to specify, those keys going to maintain the record as unique, each row as unique. So these three things are there. So for these three things we need a report definition. First let's go with the data pages. So can anyone answer what is the category where data page is going to get stored? Where can I go and create a data page? Can you navigate? I want to create a data page for country.
Data model. Data model category.
Data model category,
It's,
if you go and create it,
and
right? So
and
directly
it
go
belongs to the rule declare pages.
rule declare pages. Nice. So rather than directly going records and data model category, if you create in this way, what will happen? So directly if you are trying to create like this, your class will not shown directly. You have to manually choose the class, which class you want to declare. Okay, so if you know the class where do you want to create, so directly you can open the class by clicking from the data type itself. You can see the show in app explorer. Once you click on this, that class will get opened in the left side of app explorer place. So in this one, directly you can open data model. In this data model, already data page is there. How this data page has started? Because once you create a data type, I already mentioned three data pages will get generated. One is page level, list, and savable data page. Along with that, we already started creating one more data page called d underscore fetch countries. So this one was already created, and don't forget to mention whenever you create a new rule, right? Don't forget to mention in the history tab. The history tab is description is this one, and I'm going to use to fetch all the information. And I have created on October 20, and lastly I updated on 21st, day before yesterday. Now let's go back to definition. So here I chose list type because I'm going to fetch multiple results. If you are going with only one single result, you can go with the page option. And read only mode, because I don't, after loading the data, I don't want to make any kind of modification. I don't want to do any kind of sending back the data to database, updating to database, no, nothing. So I just planning to retrieve the information, and I'm choosing the scopes. It's based on my requirement. Let's say my countries are going to update it very frequently, then I can go with the thread. So requester is like whenever I want to once I log in, right, first time whatever the data I want to load, those data only I want to keep my entire session. So once I log off and log in back only, I want a new data, or else once I log in, whatever the data I'm fetching first time, so those data only I want to keep it in my clipboard, then I can go with the requester. So if I'm sure that my data is not going to change constantly, and it's very rare to change, means I can go with the node level database. This will not trigger multiple times. Once the node is whenever the node is getting changed, right, that time only this will get updated. Okay, I as of now my states are going to get uh changed, right, multiple times. I'm going with thread. Now let me know one thing. If I change the thread value, Where can I see the values in the whenever the data page is getting run, right? In clipboard, at what place exactly can I see the values? When I click on actions, and you can see the source as data source as report definition. So I have given one more data page, sorry, one more report definition. This is the other new report definition which I have created. Okay, I created separately. Now if I go to history tab, we have to mention the purpose and all things. Okay, right now I'm not mentioning, but when this is a best practice, whenever you do something, just maintain in the history tab. Now here I'm planning to fetch the country code and country name on the top of this data class. So this class is belongs to, this class is going to map with one of the table, right? How will you get to know which table this class is going to get mapped? Where can I find out which table the data is going to get stored? If I run this report definition, this is going to hit one database table, right? And it is going to hit the database table and it is going to fetch the data, right? Which table it is going to hit? How will I get to know? Aboli?
Like in clipboard, right?
No, I want to know which table this is going to map. This class is going to map which table, and I want to know the table name. Table name you can't find out in clipboard,
Coun-
right?
Country.
Based on the
Inner
class,
order.
this section.
Yeah, it's under the PR other table.
Did you get my question? I want to know which table this data is going to fetch. Once I run this report definition, this is going to hit the database. Which table it is going to hit? No idea.
No.
How will you get to know which? How will you get to know the table name? Every time you are hitting the database, right? Every time I'm saying mentioning like hitting database table and fetching the data. Then how do you know like this table only it is going to get the data? Because you created the report definition under that class you are saying, but some table will be there, right? In the backend, I used to show in the PG admin database, right? Okay, so let it be. Once you open this one in class record, right, here you can click on the test connectivity, so there you can find out which table this is going to be get mapped.
Yes.
Okay, leave about this one. Now let's go back to the data page. So once you are running the data page, right, where this data going to get stored in the clipboard, as we mentioned, whenever you run the data page, it is going to maintain a temporary memory in the backend, right? So where exactly this is going to get stored? Once you click on run, this is going to get created in the clipboard, right? Where exactly it can create? Under the user pages or data pages?
In user pages, PX result.
Under the data pages, this particular one is going to get create or under the user pages. So this is standard, right? So let me take the data page fetch countries. Okay, now let's user pages and click on data pages, click on thread. There is nothing is there. Okay, let's run it one more time. First of all, let's go with the PX results. We have three results, right? Let's click on the clipboard. And did we save this one? Just a second. This is report definition, thread and read only list source, right? Under the thread it is coming. Whenever you go with the read only mode, right, under the data pages the data is going to get stored, all the three results. Whenever you're going with the editable scope, right, editable mode, right, then it will go with the user pages. Okay, I think you're not following the documents. I already mentioned yesterday. Please go through the documents and understand the concept on each and everything. Okay. Okay, let it be. So fetch countries is already there. I don't need to display again one more time. So let me open my work class. So right now we are going to run the cases in the work class layer. Once we create the case steps, right, that time I can show you how to run it from the case step. Right now we are going to deal with the flow level itself. So let's run it from here. Once I click on run, so we can display the customer information screen, right? So from here, let's try to give the source of data page to the respective table drop downs like country, states and city. Right now country is coming, I mean states are coming and cities are coming, right? So let's open this one. So if you want to open section directly from the screen level, I mean open directly from the portal, you will have an option called live UI. This is used to debug the respective development part. So take live UI and you can click on this drop down. Once you click on this drop down, right, so it will show you on the right hand side like which drop down you selected and where it is getting created, what are the next fields like next to this one, near to this one, and which section it got created, which flow action is getting called, like these kind of information. All the OTB, all the backend rules will be shown here directly. You can open from here directly. Once you click on this one, this rule will be opened directly in the dev studio. Okay, so here for the country already source has mentioned. So you can see that source has already mentioned like report definition, I think. So if you come back to here you can see this type of source is report definition, but I want to change it to data page. So you can have one more two more things like clipboard page and data pages. Clipboard page I will show you in the data transform and activity. So let me go with the data page here. So once I select the data page, it is expecting my data page name and which value you want to keep it in backend and which value you want to keep it on the screen level. So this whatever the values you mentioned, right, let's go with this one. I don't want to maintain this state and city, so I will make this one as property level, as defined on property, and as well as city also I don't want to mention as of now. Just make it as defined on property because I haven't created any kind of report definition for that. So let's actions and refresh the case because I haven't given any data, right? So I don't need to save the data. So let's open this and now when I come to here, so this is getting loaded. When once you click on this drop down, right, so whatever the code you have given in the backend, so data page will run. The data page will fetch the report definition. It will wake up the report definition. The data page, that report definition will open and it will run the data. Whatever the data you are getting here, so whatever the data you are running, right, this data it is going to give to data page. So data page is going to maintain this value under px results, right? So under the px results, which properties are holding the values? Under each value, country code and country name both are there. I want to take all the country names, all the result country names, and I want to set it in the backend all the results of country code. So that is the reason in the section level we are mentioning the country code for setting the backend value, and country names, all the country names, whatever the results are there, those values you are setting for the country name, and this country name is going to display in the screen level. You're understanding, right? Whenever you click on the drop down, how the process is working in the backend. Now let's do the same thing for states and city. Now let me go with another tab, another data type. So let's go with the states one. Let's open this one in the app explorer. I think I have already created a new data page for this. If not, we'll create again. Okay, there is no data pages present for this one. Let's see with the report definition. I have one report definition called fetch states. So this is what it is doing. It is getting all the information, country code, state code, and state name, right? And based on the filter conditions. So we have already discussed this one. So if you have any doubts, you can raise the question. So why we are maintaining this filter condition? If I don't maintain this one, what will happen? If I don't maintain this, whenever you are running this one, right, it will fetch every information, whatever the information is present in the backend table, whether it is 10 records, 100 records, 1000 records, how many records, whatever the records are present, it will be displayed. But as per our requirement, what is our condition? Based on the user selection only, I want to display my states. That is the reason we have to use parameter. Parameters are what it will do, like it is like a variables, like it can store the value for temporarily, and it can pass the value from one rule to another rule. It can take one value from one rule and it can pass to some other rule. That value is going to hold the value and pass it to some other rules. So in the same way, the values are coming here. When user is selecting Australia, this value is going to get stored under the property of dot customer info dot country property. Customer info is the page. In under this page I took this property, and this property is going to store the value in the clipboard level. Once your user is going to get submit, right, under this value, under PY work page customer info page, this value is going to come under the country page. So this value is going to get stored, this value, right? So this value I want to pass it to states. Based on that, I want to use a filter condition in the backend. I want to display only respective countries. So once you change the country, automatically the value has to pass dynamically to states again. Once your user is changing, keep on changing every time whenever user is getting changed. So to do this one, we have to capture a parameter. This can be given any kind of name, and this will be going to store your value dynamically from the case level to till report definition. What you can do, apply the filter condition. What kind of filter you want to do? I want to filter my results. Let's say whatever the results you have fetched, right? In this I want to filter out by using country. I want to only country related specific states I want to display. In that case, what we have to do, filter out with country code or country name, anything. And here directly if you give some hard coding value, right, let's say IND if I provide, and when I save it, it's going to give the results or not, we'll see how it is showing. It is going to give the results, right? Let's say here, once you click on this gear icon, right, you have two options. One is use null if empty, and another one is ignore the case. What it is called ignore the case and use null if empty. Let's say in the fetch states, I mean in the backend states code, you can see states code is there in the capital letters, right? Country code is present, sorry, country code is present in the capital letters. Let's say while running the report definition, I'm maintaining here in the capital letters. Rather than this, I'm maintaining in a small letters. Now let's save this. I'm doing the same thing by running. Am I getting any kind of results? No, right? So while giving this hard coding value, sometimes the case sensitivity may miss, right? So like user can give some kind of small letters, capital letters, this kind of letters, right? So the data may mismatch. That's why we don't encourage to provide the hard coding values. It can be affected at any time. So still if you want to keep it, then you can go with ignore case. So this is going to ignore the case sensitivity of the capital letters and small letters. It will bring the exact results whatever you are trying to fetch. It won't even consider the camel face or something. Okay, in that case only you have to go with this ignore case sensitivity. But this hard coding value is not allowed to mention, and this is not a good practice to do in Pega. So rather than this, we can maintain the value in the parameter wise. So once you provide the value in the parameter, you can use the param here. Once you click on the param, that value whatever you maintain in the tab, those value will come here. And definitely once you mention the parameter, you have to select this use null if empty. If I don't select, what will happen? Once you click on submit and save, and it is showing one error message as well. That error message is saying do the filters using parameter with the use null if empty option is not selected. Please ensure that you do pass the parameter, otherwise what will happen, the filter will be dropped entirely, and execute of the report will result very poor for performance. If you do not want the behavior, then select this option it is suggesting. Okay, if I don't do still, and when I click on run, what is happening, again it is showing all the results. But once I give this parameter here, means once I pass some value dynamically to this one, it is going to filter out of all the things. But do you think, let's say I want to display here all the states, like almost 20 states are present. Let's say I'm selecting, first I want to show 20 select. Based on the selection of the country, I want to display those country respective states only. Is that correct statement? No, right? User should not able to see any kind of states until and unless user is selecting some country. Even user is selecting India, so user should not be allowed to see other countries, other country related states. So to avoid that, what we have to do, while running this report definition only, we should avoid by displaying the results before passing the any kind of dynamic value. To do that, what we can do, so we can uh, select this one, use null if empty. How it is going to handle, until and unless you pass the dynamic value, those results are not going to show. Once you pass some kind of parameter value dynamically, means you are passing, you can choose anything, any value dynamically, so those values only going to get the results. So this is how this parameter is going to work. Now in the same way, I want to use it for data page as well, because once you run the report definition, this report definition is going to pass the results to data page, right? When we mention this as source to data page. So let's create a data page. Let's create a database under the same class, data page create, and this is also same fetch states based on country. And once you mention the data page name, automatically it will start with d underscore. Okay, and under this class, under this application, this rule set. So I want to capture it in the list structure because I have more results. So, and this keys data page will be enabled for the list structure. We'll discuss about this topic later. And mode is read only, thread is scope, and I want to use my source as report definition. Already I have report definition, right? So those report definition name you have to fetch it here, fetch states. Once you click on this one, your source is going to connect with your data page and check whether any parameters it is having. Parameters it is having, already it is having some parameter, right? If I don't give any parameters to the data page, and when I click on run, what is happening, you can see once I click on run, right? And when I click on run, you can see any kind of px results here over here. Is there any results are coming over here? No results, right? Last time we were having. Why results are not coming? Because we can even trace also. Just go with the trace option and click on report definition, click on run, and let's go back to the tracer. It is not running anything, right? So it is not running, it is not fetching, it is not going to connect with any report definition getting the data. Okay, let's pause this one. Why it is happening? Because of you are running the report definition. When you run the report definition, if I don't give any kind of parameter value, is it giving any result? Is this giving any result? No, right? No results. That is the reason database is also not getting the results. When report definition will give the results, when you pass some value dynamically to the parameter, that time only it is going to give some results, right? Until and unless you pass the value to this respective one, it is not going to provide any kind of results in the backend. So what issue is happening? When you are running the data page, you are running directly, you are running the report definition, but report definition is having some parameters. Until you pass the parameter value, this is not going to understand which value you are planning to fetch, because as you mentioned in the report definition, you are passing through parameters. If some value you are passing, only value is going to be retrieved. So we can do, again we can do some kind of parameter value in this data page tab. You can mention the same name like how you did for the report definition. So same way you can use it, same name, or else you can mention something like country, let's say. Now if you mention in this way, next time whenever you run the data page, it will expect some parameter value. Okay, so here if I pass some value like ind and click on run, automatically this value is going to connect with the report definition, and report definition is, it is going through the report definition, and report definition is going to get the results. But if you see here, do you see any kind of px results over here? Still it is not bringing the px results to this one. Why? Because of you are running the data page, you are passing the value, from here, from the parameter tab, you are passing to report definition. But is that report definition is capturing that value? No, right? I mean, you are running the data page, okay, by giving some parameters, but report definition only is going to fetch the results, right? Data page you only used to store the value. How report definition will fetch? Report definition will fetch based on the value. So whatever the value ind you are giving, right, that value is not coming to here. It is not going to come to here because this parameter, report definition parameter and data page parameter is not matching. Whatever the parameter you are mentioning in the data page, right, this parameter you have to give Definitely you have to match this one with this data report definition parameter. Here you have to mention the parameter which you have in your data page. Once you give this connectivity, right, parameters for fetch states, parameter for the report definition. So once you match this parameter, then only it is going to connect the connection, like whatever the value you are giving while running, right, this value, whatever the value you are going to give, right, it is going to hold by the value of parameter. So this is going to pass to the report definition, whatever the value. If I select the IND, this value is going to pass with the report definition parameter. This is data page parameter, and this value is going to be mapped with the report definition. The value whatever you have given, it is coming to here, it is fetching the results. So in this way you have to match the value from the data page to report definition. Let me save it and run. And if I mention the value here and just click on the flush, if you have any kind of before execution was present already, one clipboard value is present in the clipboard, you can flush it, means again it will refresh. So now let me clear this data page and let's run this one. Now you can see results are coming because properly values are getting passed to this. You can see all is getting traced. So here the data page is getting data page started loading and loading the thread scope, and after loading the report definition is going to get the values. Once just click on this and you can find out the parameters under the unnamed value, unnamed page name. Okay, here the country is passing the value as IND. So this parameter is going to hold the value of IND, and this IND value is going to pass to the report definition. First of all, whatever the value we are passing from here, right, IND is going to be passed, and that value we are mapping to this. Rather than this place, IND is going to map to the report definition, and here also value is going to map with the IND, this value. Then it is going to only India related states, state code, state name, it is going to get fetched. That is the reason results are coming over here. Understanding? And you may have multiple parameters also. Let's say if you have something other thing like state code, and you may have some other thing like city code. In that case, what will happen, so whenever you are running, right, automatically in the report definition also in the parameter we have to provide, even parameter value should be there in the report definition as well. So whenever you run something from the database related parameters will be displayed. Whatever the value you are giving here, this value is going to map with the report definition to the respective report definition parameters. Those values wherever you want to fetch the results, right, you can do in that way. Okay, so right now I don't want to take it. Let's say sometimes the value can be similar. Sometimes report definition value, like you don't want to mention this one. So let's say report definition value, parameter value is country CD, right? If you want to mention the same thing in the data page also, no problem, you can use it the same thing. If you do the same way, right, then one advantage is there, country CD, and here also country CD, right? In this case what you can do, if you come to the parameter tab, right, rather than mentioning this, if the both values are same, directly you can click on this pass current parameter page. If both parameters values are same, then you can use this pass current parameter page, means whatever the parameters are present, Pega will match automatically, and this will give the results. This will pass the current parameter page. If you give IND, automatically this will be passed to report definition directly because of the same results, because of the same parameter name we mentioned. Anything approach is fine. You can, if you maintain the same parameter name, you can pass it directly through report definition, through data page. Okay, now how this is going to work in dynamical value. Now it is running in the backend, it's fine, we are passing to this one, we are passing to this one, but how this data page is going to get the results? Here nothing is there, right? How this data page in runtime is going to get result? Whenever you refer this data page, whenever you refer this data page in your section level, let's say here this is my section, in this section I want to refer my data page to the respective state one, right? I will come to my list source. In this list source I'm planning to give the data page. So what is the data page name I have, I can mention here. Once I mention my data page over here, whatever the parameters it is going to have, it will display like this. So that means to these parameters you can get some value dynamically. Dynamically what can I do? I want to get the value of the country value dynamically from this screen level. When user is selecting some value, right, and whenever user is coming for select the state, right, that time I will use my country value and I will pass that country value to my states, and this value is going to map to my database. Database is going to connect with report definition, and whatever the value I'm selecting over here, those value related data is going to get fetched and displayed to the user. So to pass this one, first we should know which property is going to hold the value. Here the property is like customer info dot country. Once user is getting selected, right, I want to capture that value. Now let's go back to section. Here you can pass directly that property customer info dot country. So once you give like this, what will happen when user is going to get select this value first, right? So this property is going to store in the clipboard value in the backend. So that value we are going to consider for our section. Means let's say user is selecting India, means India value will come, and the state means state value will come, something like India, Australia, or any kind of country value is selecting dynamically, that value will come here. And that also we are capturing in our data page and report definition country code we are capturing, right? So we have to take the value in the backend country code, then only the country code value will be mapped. So after this one, what we have to do, this value will be taken to the data page. From the data page parameter is going to have, let's say, ind. This value is going to pass to this report definition. Report definition is going to have the value as, one second, India is going to map to here. So once it passed to here, it is going to give the results. Those results it is going to give the database. Database is going to store in the clipboard level temporarily. Those values we are going to use it for section level. So here I want to set the value in the backend only state code. I want to set the name to screen level. I want to display the state name on the screen level. Now once you submit this one, right, so if you go back to your section and just try to select the value again, so let's again just go to actions and refresh. Click on go. Based on your selection, before selection nothing was there. Once you select the value, this value whatever you're selecting, right, this is going to get mapped. Once you click on selection, this one, right, this India is going to have what, India is going to store the value in the backend country code value is going to store in the backend, not now. So it is going to map once you select the value. So this is, I need to give the post value, but currently still it will capture. So it will go back to the database, sorry, first it will go to the section. In the section level, it is going to capture the value of India code here, and it will going to through the data page, it will map to the report definition, fetch the results, again it will come back, and whatever the results are there in the specific property value and property name, right, those values are going to get displayed. That's the reason you can see the selected states. Once you change this value, automatically this will be mapped dynamically again. Those related states or cities only will come, and those related United States means those related states only will come. This is the way we can pass it dynamically. So once it is coming to the states are done, right, so you can go with the cities now. So if you want to do the cities one, right, so what you can do, you need to open the cities value. So let me close these all the things. So these things are done, right. Let's go with the city related one. City may need some other configuration, like on the user selection I can show the city values, but once the city has to depend on country as well. Okay, so let's go with this city. So city is having, I'm maintaining separate table like country code, state code, city code, and city name. So I want to take these values, so directly I will open this is in the app explorer. From the app explorer I just want to open the data model, and I don't have any report definition. First let me create a report definition first. So the report definition name I want to mention in a simple way, like fetched city. I want to fetch only city code and city name. and let's consider something like state code also. Let's see like what kind of results it is going to bring. And I want to fetch based on the state code. Based on the state, I want to fetch the results. So let's take the parameter value. I want to maintain it dynamically. So let me take state cd, and the data type is as text. This is the text value, right? We just need to mention here, and after that you can give it by using param tab, parameter one. And once you mention the parameter, you just need to override this value. Like, I don't want to show any other results until and unless the value is getting passed, so I'm using it null if empty. Once you save this one, and you can run the data page, until and unless you pass some value dynamically, no results are going to come. But once you get the state code right, you can choose dynamically something like this, and I want to select Telangana related one. So once you click on apply changes, all the results are going to come like this. Okay, same thing I want to create for data page as well. So let's create one data page. Now here also I'm maintaining something like list structure, and I want to maintain my report definition. Already report definition is already present, right? So let's call that directly fetch cities. Okay, so once I fetch the cities, click on the parameter. It is expecting one parameter value, right? If you want to mention the same parameter, right, so you can directly mention the same parameter here. And if it is similar, then directly by passing this one, directly you can select this pass current parameter page, means same parameters will get passed. Now if I run, I don't need to show much things, already you know this one. So I want to pass something like ts value and flush all the things if it is needed. Then the results are going to come, those results are going to map the map to here, right? So in this, city code is there, city name is there, and state also present. I what you want to display, let's say I want to go with the section. I want to display here like change the source as data page, and the data page whatever the source you are mentioning, right? So take this value, data page name, and into this automatically whatever the parameters you have, right, it will get passed. So here I want to pass the value dynamically to customer info dot state, whatever the user is providing the state name, right, that value I want to pass. And which value you want to store in the backend. So I want to store it like city code, and I want to store the display like city name. So once you click on submit, and I'm going back to my case again. So when you click on this, now user is going to select it based on the country. Until the country is there, you are not going to display any kind of cities. And once you click on the state, based on the selection of the state, you are going to display with the respective city, right? Once you change something to some other state, right, automatically those, if they have anything, any kind of cities are present, those cities are going to come. If you have any kind of cities you have, means those cities are going to come like in this way. Few these Andhra Pradesh is not having any kind of cities in the backend, I think. So I need to cross check once, and Telangana is going to bring some other results, right? But let's say I'm selecting Hyderabad. After selection of Hyderabad, if I change the country, United States, city is going to get changed. But what about the city? Sorry, state is going to change. What about city? City is still constant, right? Because this city value is going to depend on the state values. Once you change the states, automatically those states related data you're going to get displayed. Until and unless once you select some value and changing the country, right, it is not going to affect it, because states we depended on country, but city we depended on state, right? So once you maintain the city depending on state and as well as country, then only this value is going to get changed. So this is not the proper unit testing, right, we are doing. So this is the proper unit testing. Previously whatever the testing, if you do, if you don't focus on the negative part scenario, right, so that is going to affect the code. You have to think in every perspective. Okay, so we have to depend on the city, not only on states, we have to depend on the country as well. So what we can do directly, we can do the simple change. Go to here, and rather than giving this state code only, you can mention the city code also, sorry, country code as well. So mention this country code. So this is a property type, right? So just go and maintain the country code, and in the filter condition, I mean parameter tab, directly go back to here and mention the same thing. Anything, any value is, it's your choice. Now select the one, and if you want to maintain this one in the report definition, directly param.country cd, and when I give the parameter, definitely I need to select the use null if empty and save it. So this is going to bring the results when you are getting passed only one value, right? So let's say I'm passing this value, nothing is present, right? So when I select this country code, based on the selection of country, okay, country code is also nothing is there, because here we cannot pass it dynamically, and there is a condition called f1 and f2, means until these two values are getting passed, the values are not going to get retrieved. So let me give dynamically. The values are like state cd I want to give ts, and country I want to give ind. So based on this proper value selection only, those results are going to get retrieved. So to do the same thing for the data page also, maintain the same parameter value if you want to pass current parameter page. So after this one, you don't need to pass anything to the report definition, because already pass current parameter page is present. If you are giving some other parameter name, right, then you have to definitely uncheck that. Then only the values are going to get passed. You have to pass it manually. And once after this one, once again go back to your personal details. So here what I'm trying to do, so first of all let me remove this placeholder. I want to give like select city, and in the data page just try to give again. Once you provide this one, right, it will ask like again two parameters. I want to pass customer info dot state for the states, and for country I want to pass dynamically by giving country. So after this, whatever the results is going to come, right, so I want to set it in the background like country code, city code, and city name. And once you submit this one, now let's go back to the case level again. Just you can refresh it. Now you can see currently nothing is present. Once you select something countries, right, so based on the selection, city is not present until and unselect. You select something kind of state. Once I choose this state like Gold Coast, now if I change something to select all, automatically this is getting null, right? So once I select this Victoria, those related cities are coming. Now once I go with the country, once I change it India, right, so states and city has to be vanished, right? So it is getting changed and there is no city again. Once I select this country as Telangana, state as Telangana, and cities are coming, and once I change it to again some other country, automatically these two things are going to get changed like this. So this is the way you have to do the testing part. This is how one value is going to depend on another one, and another one is going to depend on another one by using parameterized data pages. So in the same way you can do with report definition. So I am expecting you try with report definition first and try to pass it to in the section level as a source, then try with the data page.